They jacked you up. Let's take it back. They jacked you up.
Make a wall, baby. Make a wall. You know they're going to try to run. Let's go.
Great players feel the game. I can feel when you're going to run the ball.
Form a wall up there. Let's just form a wall. Form a wall.
I can feel your attitudes. I can feel your demeanor. I can feel the offensive alignment looking at me. I can feel all this.
I'm letting you go, dog. Run! Run!
The excitement that I have when I'm able to see something before it happens, it's something that I want to miss.
Carson became a ferocious run defender, particularly at the goal line.
You say Riggins was a great goal line runner. Marcus Allen, great goal line runner. They had the instincts. Once they got near the goal line, they smelled it. Harry Carson was like that on defense. He could feel where the play was coming. He could get in there. He had the greatest goal line instincts that I've ever seen.
Ted would come in on Monday morning, hungover from the night before, or maybe it was just a kind of a continuation of the night before. And we would put up film of the next week's opponent. And Ted would sit there half awake and call out the play they were going to run before they ran it. And as a young player, you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, how does he know all the answers? Well, he played for Don Shula with the Colts. The guy's seen every offensive formation and every variation since that time.
I've studied the game long enough to know the different blocking techniques that I have to deal with. I've seen it so many times during my career that it just comes natural. There's not very much work involved in it.
I guess he was not the most talented, gifted athlete, but he was brilliant when it came to recognizing what was getting ready to happen. And it was all about preparation. And he would grind that and pound that into the heads of those young guys.
As a young player coming in, I didn't realize that being a good athlete had nothing to do with being a good football player. And I just learned how to be a football player around Hack. His approach to the game was one of being a student throughout. He came to every meeting with a shoebox full of pencils. He had a divider down the middle. He had sharpened pencils on one side, dull pencils on the other, and he just kept changing them as he wrote down every single thing that was said in the meeting. And that was a demeaning approach that I didn't know and wasn't used to and didn't think that that had anything to do with being a football player. And I learned that from Jack.
Mike was a student of the game. And he studied, 6, 7, 8 hours of film.
He was one of the first guys to have whatever the high end was at Halas Hall. He bought his own for film study at home. He was always looking for that edge to improve himself. He was very serious in that way.
Every play, somebody's talking. And you have to look at the film long enough to hear the conversation.
Watch him in the block!
Once the ball was getting ready to snap,
hey, get on him!
I'm gonna be loud, I'm gonna be active, I'm gonna be in motion. I can't be still because
move!
When you have a pretty good idea of what they're gonna do,
watch the end of my jaw!
It's a good feeling.
You look light!
That's why my eyes were as big as they were, so that I could figure out what's the formation, who's giving me the tip, what's the play. It's just so exciting and so exhilarating to be right.
He had that intensity, every play. A lot of action, a lot of movement going on. Check pole! Check pole!
Singletary's calling out plays, and it's the actual play that they're going to run.
Turning up the heat, applying the pressure.
So that time, Taylor took on 2 offensive linemen.
For me, it was a thrill to watch him as a young player because it helped me to figure out how to play, because he would decipher and figure out a play before it ever happened.
Over time now, there's kind of become this understanding that small running backs have an advantage because a lot of times linebackers can't see into the backfield. His height at middle linebacker may have been a positive in the reverse. He may have had a better view of what the offense was doing, and that might explain why he seemed always to be one step ahead of things. He just seemed to make every tackle.
Defensive back is like a closer in baseball. You have to be fearless. And Rod had that personality where he was going to go for it.
At age 37, he showed why he was an all-time great.
Your body is a step slower, you don't jump as high, but you see it faster.
13 defensive touchdowns, tied for the most in NFL history.
Charles Woodson scoops up the ball and runs it in the end zone for a touchdown.
The things that he was able to do on the field was spectacular. It was fun to watch. He didn't have to use as much energy as one person would have to use. And I say that because he already could anticipate what was going to happen. And majority of the time, he was telling us what was going on.
Hey, Rob!
It's that man again! It's that man!
Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
I just saw that as an amazing play for many reasons. Number one, he didn't always return punts. He actually leaped over a guy. He hurts his rib. You saw when he got hurt because he started holding his side. And the reason he could do that is because he blocked his mind out and just ran. And it made it look easy. It did not look difficult. It was like the other players on the team just kind of laid down and let him run through it. And that one play turned the whole game. That's what the great players do. They make it look easy, and Darrell was one of those.